So welcome to today's episode. What I'm planning on doing is jumping into the new wild update. One of the things I'm going to do is basically replace this path with mud bricks and packed mud. In order to do that, I need mud blocks, which I'm going to try to find a mangrove swamp with them, or I can make them myself, and then I have to build a wheat farm for that. I've also been AFKing off screen near the wool farm because I need to get as much wool as possible, because it's useful for the ancient city and to not spawn a warden. And you can see over there is a dark forest. So what I'm hoping for is to either find a woodland mansion or a pillager outpost so I can get some allays. The next thing is going to be trying to find a mangrove swamp, which is kind of a bit difficult because I have not even found a swamp yet in this world. But then I can grab some buckets of tadpoles, and then we're going to explore underground to try and find a deep dark biome so I can get a Sculk catalyst, and if I'm lucky, find an ancient city, although it might be a bit hard, and try to raid it to get some of the enchantment books and other stuff you can get that's unique to the ancient city. That is a lot to do in one episode. Hopefully I can get it all done, but I might not be able to, but I am really amped up and looking forward to this episode. One thing I wanted to mention is I had to convert this world over to 119, and when I did that I actually went through and basically kept any of the chunks where I had built something or I had a farm, and I basically deleted every other chunk because I wanted new stuff to be able to generate in those chunks. So if you want to know how to do that, I'll have a tutorial in my description that will allow you to download the MCA selector and also a tutorial for that. It's pretty easy, but it's also very risky, so you want to back up your worlds. But a good example of this is this village. This is the village that I originally started with, and it is completely different from how it used to look. A good example is down here. You can see there's more houses down here. It's a completely different setup. So yeah, it's not a bad idea to either start out fresh with a new update, or just delete some chunks if you want more likely things to generate in those chunks. So the first thing I want to do is go down into the caves and see if I can find a deep dark biome. So if you're wondering how to find a deep dark biome, there's not really a specific trick to it, but the way to find it is try to get down to about -52, which is where about the ancient city generates. So the deep dark biome can generate about there. It generates close to bedrock, and you basically want to look for the blocks. So I think right now I'm at -32. So I need to go down 20 blocks in order to see if I can find a deep dark biome. So what I'm going to do is use the cheese caves to basically look around, maybe fly a bit and see if there's anything. So you can see, let's see. So basically you can see, well, there's a deep dark biome right away. So I've neutralized the area, lit it all up, got rid of most of the mobs. Now let's grab a sensor, and I already got some catalysts. So I just want to test out something. So there is a lot of deep dark biome-ish areas around here. So what I want to do is just dig down to -52, which is supposed to be where the ancient city is, and see if I can hit one just mining around in this area. Well, that didn't do anything. So I kind of got lost and found this deep dark biome, and when I set off one of the sensors, I heard an unusual noise, which was a shrieker, and I just got the darkness effect, so there's definitely an ancient city somewhere around here. So I don't see any shriekers over here, but it was definitely one of those sensors, so it might be a shrieker just behind that wall. So since I don't know where I am, and it'd be a bad idea to die here, I think it might be a good idea to just mark down the coordinates, come back here with more gear, and prepare to deal with anything within the ancient city. So before I head to the ancient city, or what I think is an ancient city, I'm going to brew some potion of night vision. The reason for this is I don't want to place torches at all, because that will cause a vibration that will be detected by the sensor, which can activate the shrieker, which eventually will spawn a warden. So it's better just to be able to see in the dark than place all the torches, until I at least neutralize all the sensors. So first we will make it an awkward potion. Then next we put the golden carrot in, and we have the potion of night vision. So all we to do is put some redstone dust in it to make it last longer. And there we go, it'll last for 8 minutes. So let's throw that into the shulker box and let's keep going. Now all of the potions of night vision are brewed. That's probably more than I need, but you can always have extra. So now we gotta figure out where the ancient city was. So I'm back at the spot where I think the ancient city is. So first I want to do is deactivate these sensors so they don't make any noise, and activate the shrieker that's behind here. Then I'm gonna have to figure out how to get into the ancient city, which might be tricky. So let's see if this works. So if I put a wool block next to it, it does not make any vibrations. Okay, let's see if this works now. So if I break this, okay, none of the other sensors pick that up. So that's a good sign for what I'm planning on doing. Oh, that's not good. So there's definitely a shrieker around here, probably through that wall right there. So that puts the warning level at 1. So if I probably break any of these blocks, it'll increase the warning level. Let's see. Yep. So that's 2. So what I might want to do is, ooh, that's not good, darkness effect. So what I want to do, probably because if I keep going, it's going to eventually spawn a warden, is I might take a little bit of a break until it decays the warning level. So I think it takes about 20 minutes. Oh, that's not good. So that's the 3rd one. So I want to be careful. Probably best just to get out of here, because if I get a 4th one, it is gonna spawn a warden. So I thought since it's gonna take me quite a while for the warning level to decay, it takes 10 minutes to decay 1 level, and I at least had it up to 3, so I should wait 30 minutes to actually try to go into the ancient city again. So while I wait, I have this Woodland Explorer map I got from my cartographer villager. I know there's a dark forest really close to my base, just over the mountain, and hopefully I can find a woodland mansion in there and get some allays if the large jail room actually spawns or generates as part of the woodland mansion. Well, that's interesting. I found a Badlands that's actually way closer to my base than the one I was using before. I've been flying around and I've been a bit disoriented by this map, so let's just double check to see how this works. So in comparison, okay, that doesn't really help. So that's down. So it should be that way. Okay, got it. I don't know if that helps or not, but let's see. So I should just keep flying north. Or is that south? Well, that's interesting. I haven't found a woodland mansion, but I found a swamp, which I had not found in this world yet. So let's look around here. There might be a mangrove swamp close by if I just look around. Well, that's really interesting. So apparently the map I have is for a different woodland mansion, but apparently I found one anyways. That's different. Okay, so all I want to do is light it up, take care of the mobs, and try to find the large jail room. There we go, I found it. So you can see some allays in there. There's 1, 2. There isn't any in there. I can see, so there's at least 4 or 5. So I probably should have planned this out better, but I think what I'm going to do is just give them wool. So there's one guy. Okay, so now I just have to slowly get back to my base. Okay, so I guess I'm just gonna take a boat ride back to my base. Looks like I lost quite a few of them though. I only got 2, 3. Okay, let's see how many I can get back to my base. They should at least follow me because they have something in their hand which I gave them. So I am their owner. Okay, so after all of that, I think there's only 3 that made it back. Looks like only 2 made it back actually. So let's put a fence post down. Let's grab this guy, connect him to there, grab that guy, connect him to there, and then the last one. And there we go. So we were able to get 3 Allays, which is pretty good. I can probably go back to that Woodland mansion and recover the other ones, but 3 is honestly more than I really need. Now the next thing will be eventually having to transport them to either the desert or the Badlands, but maybe I should take that out of their hands right now. Let's see. It's not what I meant to do. There we go. Okay, so I'm back in the deep dark biome where I think there's an ancient city. I think the warning level is decayed to at least the lowest 0 or 1. So now I just gotta figure out how to get into this ancient city if there is one there. I mean, there's at least a Sculk Shrieker behind here. Okay, I hate to do this, but I think it's the only way. And that is to break some Sculk blocks. So if it does summon the warden, I am just gonna run. I don't even want to deal with it. So let's see. So I definitely got the warning level up 1. Let's just do it again and see what happens. Nope, nothing there. So it's specifically over there. And I can hear a sensor also. So if I do this one more time, it's probably going to spawn a warden. So I'm gonna have to run as quickly as I do this. Well, I don't see anything in there. Maybe it's better to go into this one. I don't think there's any sensors near here. That's weird. Oh, there's a Shrieker there. Yeah, that's weird. So that's definitely not an ancient city. Just a random Shrieker right there. So what I think I'm going to do is just hold off the ancient city. I think I'm just going to look for it off screen because it might take quite a while because they are somewhat rare. So I'm just going to move on and do some of the other things I plan to do that involve the 119 update. So I think the next thing should be, let's see if we can find a mangrove swamp. So in order to find the mangrove swamp, instead of just flying in random directions, I think I'm going to head to my Badlands because there was some interesting biomes surrounding it. So maybe if I fly around there, I might find a mangrove swamp. Okay, so to find a mangrove swamp, it should be close to warmer regions like jungles and desert. You can obviously see the desert around here. I know there's a jungle over here. And it probably generates close to other swamps because they have the same probably generation. So let's look at the border of this Badlands. So we see lots of jungle. Let's just go along the border to see if we can find a swamp. Okay, so there is another swamp. I don't see any mangrove swamps. So I just realized something while I was doing this. I don't really need a mangrove swamp for one of the things, which is finding a frog, which you can find in the swamp. So there should be some around here if I can find them. There's 2 of them, which is great. So all I need is to get some slime balls. Okay, so slime balls. Let's see where the frogs go. So 1 to that guy, 1 there. And let's see where they put the frog spawn. I believe that's the pregnant one. So it should be right there. Yep. So now I just gotta wait 10 minutes for that to become tadpoles. Then I have my buckets of water that I can use on them to get. And then I can transport them back to my base and put them into that lake I made. And yoink. Yoink. Yoink, why not? So I think that is enough. So now we have to figure out if there's a mangrove swamp around here. But there we go. So there is the mangrove swamp. Exactly what I want. Okay, so what I need from here is a propagal. So mission accomplished with that. And then we should probably put a portal down so I know where this is. And then mine as much mud as I want because I need some mud brick. Okay, and let's start mining. So this is the only spot that mud generates. You can make mud pretty easily just using a water bottle on something like dirt, but this is a lot easier. So I think that is enough for now. I have completely destroyed this part of the mangrove swamp, but I have 5 shulker boxes of just mud blocks, which should be enough for quite a long time. And let's head back to my base. Okay, looks like this mangrove swamp is huge, so I probably didn't even put a dent in it. Okay, so now that I am back at my base, might as well release the tadpoles into here, and they should... Oh, I just remembered I have the stream, so they might actually end up going all the way down there. Hopefully they stay close to here, but they should be... Let's look at the biome. They're in a forest, so hopefully they end up being orange. So the other thing I want to do is, since we got the fancy new mangrove propagal, I want to get rid of this dark tree and replace it with a mangrove tree. And let's see how this turns out. It'll be kind of interesting because this is raised up a bit. So let's put the propagal down, then let's put some bone meal, and let's see how it grows. There we go. Let's see how it looks from a distance. It looks fine. It definitely works. Okay. So one of the other cool things about the mangrove leaves is that you can basically use bone meal on them, and underneath will grow the mangrove propagals. And this is the only way to get the mangrove propagals. Basically, if you keep doing bone meal, that's the 4th stage. You can break it, you get the propagal. So the leaves decaying will not drop a sapling. So this is the only way to get it. So this is pretty cool for landscaping. You can just add bone meal to the bottom if you want the propagals to grow out. So the last thing I want to do, which is a pretty big project, is replace all of the paths. So I've had this idea since I've seen the mud bricks, so I want to show you what I'm thinking of. So if we do, I think that should be enough. So packed mud, mud bricks. I guess I'll show you a version of it. So the path I want to do is basically this, and there'll be another packed mud here. I think it'll look pretty cool. You can also get stairs and walls and also slabs from the mud bricks. So I think this will be a good combination to basically put all over my base. But it's going to take a lot of wheat to do this, and I do not have a wheat farm. So that's the next thing, is I got to set up a wheat farm and figure out where I'm going to put it. So for this wheat farm, I'm going to be doing this spot. I'm going to be building it in a diamond shape. There's going to be a trapped villager in the middle, and there's going to be 4 farms where the villagers try to feed wheat to that guy. So I'm kind of winging it on this one, which is not the greatest idea with me, but I think I have a clear idea. It's pretty simple when you think about how it works. So I have all of my supplies. I have my woods that I plan on doing on the outer side. I have all of my stuff like hopper minecarts, glass, wheat seeds, dirt. Now I just got to get building. And the wheat farm is complete. I really like this shape, and let's show you how it works. So the wheat farm is this diamond shape with 4 different compartments. I made a pretty big mistake on this. I originally thought that I could do the trapped villager one, so there would have been a villager right here. Well, there was at one point a villager there, but apparently villagers turn wheat into bread. So instead of being a wheat farm, it was a bread farm. And the way that I fixed that was to get rid of the villager in the middle, and there's hoppers underneath all of these blocks. So basically when the villager breaks the wheat, it'll drop onto the farmland. Because the farmland is in full block, the hopper will pick it up, and then that's how I get wheat. So let's check out how much it's produced. So it's got 8 stacks of wheat. It also has some bread because the villagers keep trying to pass bread back and forth, so the hoppers will pick that up. But that is pretty good. I did use a lot of bone meal to get this thing going just to see how it works. So a lot of that is just me using bone meal, but it is producing wheat. However, there's a little bit of a problem with this whole wheat farm setup. It's that I need a lot of wheat, a lot of wheat, and the amount this farm produces is not quite enough, so I gotta figure out another way of doing this. To give you an idea, I think I need about 2,000 wheat at least. That's a really low count, so I even need more than that. I think that is about at least 40 stacks of wheat, and I only have 8 right now, so I gotta figure out another way to do it. So I'm going to keep letting these guys produce wheat because I still need wheat for the mud bricks after all of this. The solution for this, you might ask? Well, I have to manually plant the wheat, apply bone meal until it's at its final stage, and then use my fortune enchanted hoe. How much did that get? 9 wheat, which is pretty good. So I have a ton of bone blocks and bone meal from the cactus farm and from before. So hopefully I have enough bone meal to actually do this. This is going to take quite a while. So I've been working at this for quite a while, and I finally got 2 shulker boxes just of wheat, which I'm hoping is enough. That's, I think, about 54 stacks of wheat, which is a lot. But that took me a lot. It took a lot of bone meal. I had to use up all of my melons, my pumpkins, my sugar cane. I think I used stuff like leaves. Basically anything I had, I just put into bone meal, and I used to get the wheat. So now that I've done that, let's go get the mud, and let's craft some mud bricks and packed mud for the pathways. So just to give you an idea of how much I have to do, this is the pathway. It starts from my villager trading hall, goes up to my storage system, goes up to my iron farm, all the way down here to where a couple of the houses are, the minaret, and it goes over here and down there. So I'm going to do that all into mud brick and packed mud pathways. So the other part of this is that I also got polished deep slate walls, some lanterns, and dark oak fences, and I'm going to do lamp posts on the side to give lighting so mobs won't spawn along the pathways. And then you see all the mud and the wheat. So it is done. So I thought I would take a look at this from this height. It looks pretty good. I really like the brown as a path, the mud bricks and the packed mud works, and the lighting on the sides work. So the one thing I was worried about with this, or one problem that ended up happening, was I ended up using both shulker boxes of wheat. So I actually used 54 stacks of wheat just to get all of these mud bricks and packed mud, which was a lot. So it's definitely going to be useful to have a wheat farm. Even the wheat farm I have, that is over here, I might have to expand because I don't think it's big enough. I should check how much it has right now. But at least I got that done. It looks good. I was really worried it wouldn't look good and I would regret it. So next thing I want to do is over here at my XP grinder, which I have not used in quite a while. I want to show you why I'm really interested in the Sculk catalyst. So let's put this down here. And then I have deactivated the XP grinder right now, so I want to reactivate it and show you what happens when mobs die near the Sculk catalyst. Okay, so I just had to stand close enough to the mob spawner where it'll work. It's probably going to take some time, but I basically put a path all the way over there, and the zombies will drop down near the Sculk catalyst, and we can watch what happens. So you can see right there, it turns the surrounding blocks into Sculk blocks. There, it worked. So I guess this needs to be a block lower, because if the mobs drop on there, they won't die. And basically what Sculk blocks do is if you break them, they'll drop XP. Only 1 XP, but still, that makes it a lot easier to mine out something like deep slate also. So there we go. You can see that it's changing the blocks into Sculk blocks. What I'm specifically looking for is if it turns any into Sculk sensors, which it should eventually. So this is taking quite a while because this is pretty slow, but just to sum it up, the Sculk catalyst, at least in my opinion, is pretty useful because you can get XP from breaking the Sculk blocks, also from breaking the sensors and the Sculk shriekers. The Sculk shriekers won't summon a warden if it generates from the catalyst. The sensors are going to be very useful, so this is a good way of getting Sculk sensors, because the sensors can detect vibrations and output a redstone signal. So the next thing I gotta talk about is this lake, because I put the tadpoles in here and there should be frogs here, but there clearly isn't any, because I think of this stream. I'm pretty sure the tadpoles went down. Some of the water stream, they probably couldn't go back up, so they probably went all the way out into the ocean. So I got no frogs in here. So what I'm gonna have to do, even though I did this last episode, is get rid of this stream. And I got 4 buckets of tadpoles, so I'm going to put these guys in here and hopefully we can get some frogs in here as soon as I block this off. Okay, so all of that is filled in now, and let's put in the tadpoles, and hopefully they'll stay in this little lake that I have. Cool, so the frogs have all spawned. They're all orange ones because this is a temperate biome. I am close to some cold biomes, so it would be pretty easy to get some green ones. But let's continue the cycle. Let's enter them into love mode. And where's the 4th one? Thought I saw him over there. But those 2 have bread. And hopefully they'll stay close to here, but I'm not sure. So I think that is enough for today's episode. That was a lot of 119 stuff. I accomplished a lot in this episode. So I think going forward, one of the things will definitely be finding an ancient city and raiding it so I can get the Swift Sneak enchantment and just try to neutralize it to see how to deal with the warden. And I think the next episode I'm definitely going to have to use the Allays to collect some resources and go back to the Woodland mansion to get the other ones. There's definitely a lot of things I need to do because I expended a lot of resources on this episode. So thank you guys for watching.